All right, drone video tracked 4 at Cedar Gap Hollow. We're parked on the east side. On the right, you can see the easement road. Property on the left. We're looking northerly, and we're going to get a good look at this one. It's going to be the highest on the east, which is where you'll see the little buildings where the truck is parked, then slopes down as you go to the west. Right away, I want to say, and you'll see it in the listing page numerous times, these two portable buildings you see on the property are not included. They're not ours to give. Someone was on this property, either purchasing or potentially leasing it. They have apparently kind of trashed it a little bit, as you can see, and then they took off. And so these are buildings that they were making payments on to some company, whether it be in Seymour or Springfield, or we really don't know. But at some point, someone will be coming by to get those buildings. So we cannot include them in the sale. They're not ours. Okay, we're looking toward the easement road system, and that's this particular easement road. The truck is parked on the driveway. There's a lot going on here. Sorry, there's a lot of info here. The truck is parked on the actual private driveway. To the right, you can see the easement road, which basically goes down, and there's a small cul-de-sac there. The property sits on the left. So again, you can see the trash and debris and whatnot. But we're going to do a flyover. There are a lot of surprises to this property. I mean, it is really, really cool. If you're looking for, 6 acres of level ground, this is absolutely not it. This is up and down, and as far as flat land, there's not much of it on this property. You can look at the topo to see that. But so now we're essentially flying westerly. The property goes due west from that easement road. Drone is centered in about the middle of the property. As we head west, you see we get right into some big timber after a few hundred feet. So Cedar Gap was logged several years ago. A few little portions, for whatever reason, they just did not get to. The loggers didn't get to them. And one of those is right on this property. That is mature hardwood timber that we're flying over on the property. Awesome to see that. I mean, there's, out of the 70 tracks or so at Cedar Gap Hollow, there's just 2 or 3 that have these areas of big timber, and this is one of those. In addition to that, there's actually 2 creek beds on the property. We're flying over one of them right about now. There you go, down in the timber, you can see it. You probably already noticed this is a wintertime video. There are no leaves on the trees. This will look totally different in the spring and summer. And there's water in that little creek bed. So that's a little bit west of center of the property. And then in a moment, we'll keep flying to the west. We'll see another creek bed toward the west side of the property. The other creek bed actually does show up on the topo map. Neither one really is a year-round creek. You'll see water in them at different times of the year or after it rains or whatnot. So still headed westerly, big hardwood timber. That thing off to the right, we're not sure what that is. It's probably just an old deer stand that fell over at some point. It does appear to be on the property itself, because the drone is essentially dissecting the property going straight west over the middle. So it sloped down to that first creek bed, then it actually rises up, and we didn't pause there. I wish we would have when we did the video, but there's that kind of knoll that rises up, and you'll see that on the topo map. Now, after that knoll, we come down to the other creek bed, and that's flowing as well. And that would be kind of the more major creek bed. Again, that's the one that actually you can see on the topo map. It's got a blue line for that creek bed. The property goes beyond that to the easement road on the west side. So you've actually got easement road frontage along the entire east side, where we started, where the red truck is parked, and then a good portion of the west side borders the gravel easement road system as well. That square looking thing, that's just an old wooden pallet. Not sure what that's doing there. There's the easement road on the west side. So you can drive to either side. To drive to the west side, you would absolutely need a 4-wheel drive. To drive to the east side, we would absolutely recommend a 4-wheel drive. But generally, unless we've had days and days of pouring rain, you'll probably drive to the east side in a 2-wheel drive. But again, we recommend a 4-wheel drive. It is a gravel easement road system. So we're taking a good hard look at the west side of the property, And I believe in a moment we'll spin around and we'll head back to the east. It's interesting to do these wintertime videos and then to come back in a few weeks or a couple months and do a summertime video. It won't even look like the same property. So this is across the easement road. We're about to turn around. We are not looking at the property. We're over the west side of the property looking west. And now we're starting to turn here. Yeah, there's quite a bit of water in that little creek. And again, neither of the creeks is going to be year-round. They're both wet weather or seasonal or whatever you want to call them. So this property has the site where the buildings are. And those buildings, as we mentioned, will be removed at some point, but that's a potential building site. You've got setbacks on all the tracks out here. You've got to be 100 feet off the center line of any easement road to build or camp or park or whatnot. We didn't measure with those buildings. For sure the one of them was 100 feet off the center line. I'm not sure about the other, but just be aware of that. And this does have its own private driveway that comes in off of the easement road, which is great. Massive timber on this property. And that's going to be mostly hardwood, probably red oak and white oak. Actually, after the property's been paid for in full, you can log it. You can mill the timber to make your own cabin. That's after it's been paid for in full. So now we're flying essentially straight east, back to where we started, and we're right over the property. So we're going from that section of big timber as we get closer to the building site. Got that open area. So you're going to have views, you're going to have privacy. It's just a special tract. It's right toward the south side of Cedar Gap Hollow, one of the southernmost tracts. So that actually does give it better access than 80 or 90% of the tracts out here. Looks a little rough with that debris and stuff scattered around. So again, those two buildings you see, they are not included. We do not own those. We'd give them to you if we could, but they're not ours. So they belong to a company that sells those things. We're not sure which one, because there are several in Missouri. But at some point, they'll be coming to pick those up. Gorgeous property. 30 minutes from Springfield, 30 minutes east of Springfield, which is fantastic. We're actually only about a mile off of Highway 60, so far enough off that you're nice and private, but you can get to Highway 60 in just a minute or two. And then once you get Highway 60 and hit Highway 60 and head west, you're 30 minutes from Springfield. So now looking west. Oh, there we go. Amazing tract. Check out the listing page. If you have any questions, let us know. That's tract 4 at Cedar Gap Hollow. 6.62 acres, complete instant owner financing on our website at InstantAcres.com.